This is Eagle Owl, and today we're going to talk about Jordan Davis. Will this be his last year coming up in Philly? We're going to talk about it. Also, the Eagles sign Fred Johnson's replacement. And lastly, is it a possibility that Jihaad Campbell could fall to the Philadelphia Eagles? But let's get straight into it. To it. All right, man. Before we hop straight into it, shout out to Lane Johnson. So everybody knows the draft is coming up. What within a month or so, or a little less than a month, and Lane Johnson decided to drop a clip of him and Jeff Stoutland working out. Now, first of all, Jeff Stoutland working out in bootcut jeans and it looked like it's hot as hell outside is debacle. It's crazy work, but that just lets you know how serious Stoutland is about his O line. But shout out to Lane Johnson dropping that classic, man. I think once Stoutland flew out to see him, he's the guy. As bad as Lane Johnson draft was, we got a gem. We got a gem out that draft because that draft was terrible. But Lane Johnson was a hit. He was a hit for sure. Also, we got to talk about Maddox. So Avonte Maddox sent out the tweet. He officially said goodbye to Philadelphia. As we all know, he signed to Detroit. Again, best of luck to Maddox. If we run into them in the playoffs, that's when I don't wish him the best of luck. But best of luck. Hopefully he make the team there, revive his career a little bit. My only problem with Avonte Maddox is that he couldn't stay healthy. If you go back to my videos, especially if you follow me on my old channel, I say Avonte Maddox deserves the bag. He's the best slot corner in the league. But every time he got hurt, you know, it just didn't hit. So Cooper DeJean was a blessing in disguise because that was going to be our weak point. If we ain't had no other option, yeah, he would have been the weakest link. But, Avonte Maddox still, it's still good to remember him from that Super Bowl PBU. Like, that's the last thing on our mind. So, again, shout out to Avonte Maddox and thank you. Thank you. You brought some great years here. We had our ups and downs, but it is what it is. Right, so let's get into the meat and potatoes. Let's talk about the main topic. So, Jordan Davis, this article by Liberty Line, Reddit, and how the Eagles are expected to decline Jordan Davis' fifth-year option, due about 12.9 million, fully guaranteed. And I get it. I understand it if the Eagles decline it. It's because it's really no knock on Jordan Davis, in my opinion. It's more of like, how can we pay a guy that much money who plays about 10 to 12 snaps a game? How can you pay a guy that much? Because I'm expecting Moro Jamo to get more snaps than, Jordan Davis. Unless Jordan Davis, it was a video of him coming out or that came out a couple months ago, and he was saying like how he got abs, like he's really in shape because yeah, his option might get declined, but if he can show like I can play as much snaps as Jalen Carter, or I can really be that second guy, play 50% of the snaps and more, and still be healthy and still be durable and not be gassed, then we talking about different money here. He can get paid if it's with the Eagles or not with the Eagles, but he have to show like I could stay on the field for a long time. Because again, as good as Jordan Davis was in the playoffs, he did his work on limited snaps. You really can't justify paying a guy that much money on limited snaps, on a snap count. A guy that's just there to stop the run. Now he did get some sacks, but it's hard to justify it. And in the beginning, I wasn't really a big believer in Jordan Davis, but as time went on, I'm like, Jordan Davis can ball. Jordan Davis can play. My question about Jordan Davis is how long can he stay on the field? And once, Vic Fangio figured out, like, you know what? We trying to make Jordan Davis into something he's not. Let's put Milton Williams on the field more, a guy that's more conditioned, a guy that can do both, stop the run and pass rush. Let's use him a bit more and let's just use Jordan Davis on obvious run plays. And it worked out. It worked out. Obviously, we Super Bowl champs, so it definitely worked out. But again, it's hard to justify paying a guy that much money, even though 12.9 sound really, really cheap for the going rate of defensive tackles. But again, it's still hard to justify paying a role player that much money. Whereas though you can sign a Calais Campbell or something like that, a 39-year-old, to a vet minimum, pay him like 2 million to be on a limited snap count like that. So I get it and I understand if the Eagles don't give him that fully guaranteed money. All right, so let's get into the next topic. Let's talk about Fred Johnson's replacement. So it's a guy from Miami, Kendall Lamb, I believe that's his name. Swing offensive tackle, 32 years old, a vet. He's going to come in, know his job. And I like the signing. I like the signing just for the replacement of Fred Johnson. Hopefully, we don't see him on the field if he made the team because that means our O-line is healthy. But seemed like a guy that can come in. We need him for a play or two, maybe even a game or two. He'll be just fine, especially under Statler University. Now, I've seen a clip of him, and I like his mindset. I really do. And let me play this clip.
What was that process like for you? You talked about Chop and kind of him learning how to catalog, and you talked about Patrick. Everybody's different, but when you reflect back on your own career, what was that process like of getting comfortable with your own routine?
Well, I'll say this. The guy that I was with in Houston was Coach O'Brien. And the way we do things here is beautiful, don't get me wrong, but it was very, very different when I was in Houston. That's a New England style. That's everybody's there 5-10 minutes early. The phone was put on no phones in the meeting room. If it came on in the meeting room, you were dead scared. Like, it was just a different environment. Plus, it's a different state of the world. It's a different time. So it's like, from my perspective, they taught us how to be pros very, very early. I was picking Dwayne Brown's mind, Derek Newton, Ben Jones. I can go down to Suafilo, Brandon Brooks. Like, I always want to see their routines. And at the same time, I had the Vince Wilforks, Whitney Merciless, J.J. Watts, Brian Cushings across the line for me, to name a few. So it's like, and I was fortunate enough to practice against them very early with the ones. So I had to learn shit very fast. And it's like, when you break down your film and when you talk to them, you learn, okay, you may have had a good day today, but it has nothing to do with tomorrow. You have to build your Rolodex. You have to see what worked. You have to see what didn't. And you kind of start the process all over again tomorrow. So for me, it was all about, stacking good days, but being very real with yourself. Because, the film doesn't lie. So, yes, sir.
Thank you.
I like it. I like it. Even though he's talking about the Houston Texans and how they work, coming to Philadelphia under Jeff Stoutland, you gonna work. You gonna work. So I'm happy he got that mindset, that mentality. And another guy that can come here, I'm not saying he's gonna be Mekhi Becton, but that can, somewhat revive his career. I will say this. You come to Philly, you can revive your career. Fred Johnson, Cincinnati, people's ready to throw him away. He comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, get a bag as a backup. Now he gets back with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mekhi Becton comes here, don't know what's going on with his career. He switched to guard, and now he's getting paid, $10 million a year. So, you know what you expect, and you get your techniques and tools down with Jeff Stoutland. So, hey, shout out to him. But let's get into some draft talk. I'm trying to squeeze in as much draft as I can in these videos because we know it's coming up. But it's a linebacker, and me and my guy, Devontae Graham, shout out to him. He be in the comments, and he sent me some. He's like, why we not really talking about linebacker? Because I want to stay away from the obvious. Usually when I talk about draft, I try to stay away from the obvious. Like, I know the safety is the biggest thing on people's mind, and I know like defensive tackle and edge rushers on a lot of people's mind. But I try to look at other things. And we was talking about linebackers. Like, yeah, we got Zach Bond and we got Trot Jr., but is Trot Jr. really ready? And let's say if Zach Bond or Trot Jr. get hurt, do we got enough depth there? And hell, we signed Banran Sumarin as a fullback. So do we got enough depth? Probably not. So I seen some mock draft, and I know it's about Theo Ash. If you know, he was the guy that said Quinyon Mitchell might be a bust. Made no sense. We know that was totally wrong. But he put out a mock draft, and I'm starting to see these mock drafts, and they just so all over the place One minute I see like a Jihaad Campbell at 14, and then next draft I see him with us. Then I see another one where he falls out of the first round. It's like the first three is somewhat guaranteed. Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, and Cam Ward. I feel like everybody else is just everywhere. Everywhere. Now, if Jahad Campbell falls and he's falling to like possibly day two, Eagles got to stay at that 32 spot and possibly pick him up. He'd just be best player available. And what do that mean for Nakobe Dean? I don't know. But again, a Jahad Campbell falling to the Philadelphia Eagles would be crazy. We're talking about a guy with like 6'2", 6'3", 235. Could get sideline to sideline. He could go get the quarterback. He could cover a little bit. He get the pass deflections. I mean, man, him and Zach Bond will be crazy. Will be crazy. So I like his measurables for sure. I like how he play. Alabama guy. Like, yo, again, we seen guys fall. Hell, I was watching mock drafts last year. Everybody just had Cooper DeJean at least going like late in the first round. Nobody knew he was going to fall to day two. Even Quinyon Mitchell. Everybody's like, yeah, he going to get picked in that 15, 16-ish. He fell literally to the Eagles. Like, he fell in our lap. Everybody else was getting picked. And just watching this draft last year, I'm like, yo, Quinyon going to fall to us? I like both of the corners, the one out of Alabama, Terrion Arnold and Quinyon. We had the pick of the litter. And Quinyon turned out to be that guy. We're like, hold on, wait. We're going into day two and Cooper DeJean is still on the board. Hey, let's trade up and let's go get him. And that's exactly what we did. So you're going to see some falls. But if he's that guy that's falling like that, Eagles gotta pick him. Again, what do that mean for Nakobe Dean? I don't know. I simply don't know. But that's all I got for you guys today. And hey, man, what do you think? How do you feel about the news today? Do we need a linebacker? I'm starting to think we do. Also, Fred Johnson replacement. Do we like him? Do we dislike him? Jordan Davis. But this is Eagle Owl, man. I'm out.